Good night. Thanks for having me. Good night to your listeners. Man, y'all fired up.
Listen,
Have to
listen,
be, have to be.
we have to be 60 million gone from us.
I got a
Six-
song. I got a song like them bitches. Y'all fired up yonder. Oh damn boy, y'all fired up, boy.
How we head so ragged, hot man.
I want to say. I want to use another term, but I'm not going to use it.
No. I know what you're going to say. You are not going to say
It
that.
begins. It begins with R. But R.
We know that.
No, where our head is righteously hot. Nothing more. No other RH on here. Righteously hot. You hear what I tell you? Don't get me in any trouble. Go ahead. No rank trouble.
You can't get in no trouble, man. You can't get in no trouble. Freedom of speech. Freedom of speech.
But go right ahead. What happened? Tell us about this renegade foolishness happening in Guyana right now.
You mean with the chancellor?
Tell us.
So yesterday we filed a complaint with the let me make sure I'm having all sorts of technical issues today. But we sorting it out.
Yes, and your lighting, I love your lighting. Whatever you guys do there is
Really?
yes.
I'm thinking it's too much.
We're seeing you very clearly. Yeah.
Yeah. So yesterday we filed a complaint with the members of the Regional Judicial and Legal Services Commission for the Caribbean. That's the body that regulates justices, monitors the ethics and so on for the Caribbean Court of Justice, and appoint judges, discipline judges. So what happened in Guyana? Let me give you a background. So the Constitution of Guyana requires that the president appoints the chancellor of the judiciary. Our chancellor is the head of the judiciary, and the chief justice comes under the chancellor. So the Constitution says for those two offices, chancellor and chief justice, the president appoints them after securing agreement of the opposition leader. So the Constitution promotes some sort of consensus or shared decision making with the government and the opposition. And so for the last 20 years, from the time that amendment was enacted, I think the only chancellor that was confirmed under that amendment was Justice Des Bernard, who subsequently became a judge of the Justice of the Caribbean Court of Justice. And from the time she left, no one else has been confirmed in the position, because the government at the time, which is the government in place now, the PUP government, does not believe that opposition should share that kind of power with them. So there's a proviso in that provision, which is Article 127.2, I think, of the Constitution. It says that the president can appoint, if the office is vacant, the president can appoint someone to act in that office. And in appointing someone to act, he doesn't have to get the agreement of the opposition leader. He merely has to engage in meaningful consultation with the opposition leader. And their meaningful conversation, just send a letter and say, hey, we intend to appoint this person. That's their meaningful consultation. And that violates the Constitution, because the CCJ ruled in 2020 what meaningful consultation means. It means a serious effort to consult. Anyway, so Justice Yonette Cummings, she's been a judge since I think like 2008. Prior to that, she was working in the DPP's office as a deputy DPP, then ultimately acting DPP. Then she became a High Court judge. She served in that position until 2015, I think, when she became the acting Chief Justice. And then when the Chancellor retired, which is Carl Singh, I think is in 2018, she became the acting Chancellor. So all of these people were acting. acting Chief Justice, acting Chancellor, acting Chief Magistrate. It so happened that now the three people acting in the top three judicial positions in Guyana are Black. You have Justice Yonette Cummings acting as Chancellor, Justice Roxanne George acting as Chief Justice, and then you have Magistrate Faith Magusti acting as Chief Magistrate. They're all Black. The government does not like that. And so they've been having all these issues with these women, criticizing them. The Chancellor presides over the Court of Justice, sorry, the Court of Appeal. The Attorney General has been attacking the Justice Cummings, the Vice President, because she ruled against them in this elections saga in 2020, when the government, then opposition, now challenged the elections results in 2020. And she ruled in favor of now the opposition. And since the government came into power, they've been trying all sorts of things to get rid of her, undermine her. So she proceeded, remember she's acting, she proceeded on accumulated annual leave on July 15th. Prior to her going on leave for 3 months, the president, well, not the president, the Minister of Governance wrote the opposition leader. I'm not sure that that is constitutional because the Constitution says the president shall consult. But the Minister of Governance wrote the opposition leader saying, hey, Chancellor Yonette Cummings is going on accumulated vacation leave from July 15th to October 16th. And in her absence, the acting Chief Justice will move up, which is Roxanne George. She will act as Chancellor. And then they found this political lackey they have on the bench in Guyana, Justice Davendra Singh, who has all sorts of personal and character issues. And also he's a junior appeals court judge. He was just appointed there this year. He will act as Chief Justice. So he will supersede like 2 or 3 judges and act as Chief Justice. So, and the letter specifically said they will act until Justice Cummings resumes duties as Chancellor on the 16th of October. Justice Cummings proceeded on leave, and when she proceeded on leave, the president swore in the acting Chief Justice as Chancellor, and then Navendra Singh as acting Chief Justice. So Justice Yonette Cummings went off on her merry leave. And then it was time for her to resume duties as the Chancellor. She was supposed to resume duties on the 15th, 16th of October. I think around the 14th or 15th of October, Guyanese law professor Justice Burke was sworn in as a Justice of the Caribbean Court of Justice. The president of the court, Justice Winston Anderson, who's from Jamaica, flew to Guyana for this swearing-in ceremony. During the period when he was in Guyana, the president of Guyana held a meeting at which the opposition leader, my understanding is the opposition leader of Guyana was present, and Justice Anderson from Jamaica. And during that assembly or discussion, the president indicated that he wanted to fire basically the Chancellor. He did not want her to resume duties from her leave. And he was soliciting the opinion of the opposition leader, which the Constitution says he has to. The agreement, not the opinion, the agreement. And Justice Anderson was a part of that conversation. Now, that alone raises red flags because he's a judge of the Caribbean Court of Justice. He's supposed to be impartial, supposed to be independent, but here he is sitting with the president of Guyana talking about removing the Chancellor, the highest judicial officer in the country. My understanding is that the opposition leader, Mr. Aubrey Norton, objected to what the president was proposing, the removal of the Justice Cummings as the Chancellor, and he was proposing to maintain Justice George as the Chancellor and Justice Navendra Singh as the Chief Justice. So
Mhm.
technically now, they got their wish. They'll get an East Indian as a Chief Justice, and we're gonna get y'all Justice George because she's black. So the opposition leader, I understand, insisted. Are you hearing me?
Yeah, we hear you. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, good. The opposition leader insisted that Justice Cummings should be confirmed in her position as chancellor. The president said no. The opposition leader maintained his position. And then I understand the opposition leader may or may not have asked if Justice Cummings was told that she would not be resuming duties. And Justice Anderson then interjected and said, allegedly said, that he already informed Justice Cummings that the president decided to remove her from the chancellor position. Again, this is the president of the of the Caribbean Court of Justice interfering in the affairs of Guyana and condoning the president's interference with the judiciary. He don't like the chancellor, so he's gonna move her. Now, it so happened, I'm not sure what happened in between then and when Justice Cummings resumed duties. But my understanding, based on immigration records, Justice Anderson left Guyana after that discussion. Justice Cummings resumes her duties on October 16th. Now, when she resumes duties, there are two separate buildings. The High Court, where the Chief Justice presides as in charge of administratively, is in one part of Georgetown, and the Court of Appeal, where the Chancellor's office is in a separate part. Now, when Justice Cummings resumed duties at her chambers at the Court of Appeal, Justice George reverted back to the Supreme Court to her Chief Justice chambers. Lo and behold, Badman Ravindra Singh, the political hack of the ruling party, refused to vacate the office and chambers of the chambers and court room of the Chief Justice. So the Chief Justice purportedly at one time was acting out of her car. This is it all in one day. Then she moved to the boardroom and she was conducting the business of the court. While Justice Ravindra Singh remained entrenched because he was part, apparently, he had knowledge, put it this way. He had knowledge of the plot to get rid of Justice Cummings. So he's like, I'm not moving from here. So we had chaos and a crisis in the judiciary. Because at that point in time, you had two chancellors and two chief justices.
Wow, right.
And a thug acting as a bad man in the judiciary. That's his position. That's his disposition. Now, he was appointed acting chief justice. He has a situation allegedly where he allegedly pulled a gun on somebody before. And we know of a situation where, I'm not even going to say allegedly, he marched into Queen's College where his daughter attended, and somebody apparently assaulted or did something to his daughter. And he allegedly marched into the school, marched into the place where this child was that interfered with his daughter, and tried to put his daughter to interact back with that person. I'm going to say interact. You know what I mean, right? It's like if somebody knock your child and you carry your child back and say knock them back, right? It was a situation like that. And he's a judge. Now, as I understand it, the opposition leader kept objecting to this. So once we all got knowledge of what was happening at the court, there was widespread condemnation of what Justice Singh did and what the president was trying to do on social media. At that point in time, my understanding is the government of Guyana flew Justice Anderson back into Guyana. Hey, bring that black man house slave back here. Let him do our bidding. Brought him back, and he allegedly negotiated with Justice Cummings for her to demit office on behalf of these racists in the government that wanted to get rid of her. He perpetrated a lynching of a black woman on behalf of these racists in the PUP government. And I make no apologies for saying that because that's what happened. They didn't inform her that she was not going to be the Chief Justice. Then the president's office had one of their media houses put out a report that Justice Cummings would be reverting to the Court of Appeal as a regular Court of Appeal judge. This woman has been acting as Chief Justice for 5 years, acting as Chancellor of the Judiciary for 6, and now these East Indian guys will tell this black woman that she going back and become a regular Court of Appeal justice and would be superseded by Justice George and Justice Lavendra Singh.
But what's the basis? I mean, what?
No basis. No, that's the thing. And the Constitution, I think it's Article 179, specifically establishes the process by which you can remove a judge. The president receives a complaint. He has to appoint a tribunal. The tribunal have to have a sitting or a hearing and determine the merits of this complaint, and then recommends to him that this person be terminated. That's when a judge is removed. So they just don't like her. And because they said, okay, she went on leave and we swore in this other person, it therefore means that her appointment is now voided. That's their theory. And so Justice Anderson, my understanding is, negotiated with her on behalf of the president for her to either go back to the Court of Appeal or go into early retirement. She has 3 more years left to retire based on the Constitution, or retire as a chancellor and receive a pension. So at that point in time, I guess she probably, I haven't spoken to her, she probably said, I worked in this sector for 30 years. I'm not going to lose my pension. So she agreed, allegedly, to go off on 3 years pre-retirement leave as chancellor. So as not to lose her pension at the level of the chancellor, which is vastly different from a Court of Appeal judge. So we felt that that was highly irregular. One, it's a controversial decision that could be challenged legally. Excuse me. And the matter could end up at the CCJ when the president of the CCJ was a party to this action. 2, we felt that justices of the Caribbean Court of Justice should at all times try to be impartial, try to at all times be independent, and act with the highest integrity. All 3 of those things were absent with Justice Anderson right there. He aligned himself with the government. He participated in an unjust, if not illegal, action to remove the chancellor. And he participated in a matter that could end up before the CCJ. So we felt that he breached the judicial code for the CCJ, and so we filed a complaint with the CCJ. Now I noticed another organization, actually a political party in Guyana, also filed a complaint, which is VPAC, filed a complaint with the commission as well. So that's a nutshell of what happened and what our complaint states.
I'm listening to you, and what I'm hearing here is the same issue, Zico, in Barbados with the rule of law. The rule of law. It's as though it's a suggestion for them, but these governments. Mia Mottley is doing the same thing in Barbados. There's something. The rule of law is not. It's not. They don't.
It's not applicable to them. Yeah.
It's not applicable to them. Zico. It's not apply. It doesn't sound like Barbados. Barbados to you?
It definitely do. 100%.
But you see, here's the difference. You guys are speaking out in Barbados. In Guyana, no one has spoken about this matter. No one. Not even, well, the opposition leader spoke out last Friday.
Aubrey Newton, Mr. Aubrey Newton.
Yeah, well, he's now the former opposition leader because we now have a parliament. Although an opposition leader has not been sworn in as yet or elected as yet. Civil society is quiet because the government has coerced the civil society into their into supporting them. Put it that way,
Yes,
into
yes,
supporting them. Most of civil society have now become lackeys of the government.
yes,
The religious society is quiet because the government gives them money. The Chamber of Commerce, same thing. The um, Private Sector Commission, same thing. The Bar Association, very silent because most of the Bar Association executive members are from the PPP. So the PPP controls every sector of the society. And if they don't control, they attack you or they try to bring you in line
yes,
by victimizing you and punishing you if you speak out against them. They've almost broken up the trade unions. They have used the cybercrime law to ensure that they attack all the talk show hosts. I mean, even me in America, they send people to my house with guns. And so people are afraid to speak out. And those who are speaking out are abroad.
yes. It is so similar, but at least we have this show Barbados. I'm telling you, which they would like to shut down. What would you say? We only have another 4 minutes in this segment, but what do you want their Guyanese that are watching? What do you want to say to Guyana, Mr. Burke, to the land of your birth?
People should be bold enough to speak out and condemn these authoritarian actions. I mean, there's no question in my mind that the government of Guyana is a dictatorship. It's an ethnocracy. It only governs for its own collectives, mostly East Indians. That's a fact. And, they would not have done what they did to Justice Cummings if she was East Indian. There's no question about that. As a matter of fact, they attempted to remove the chief magistrate. And it was because of noise that people on social media made, talk show hosts, that they postponed it. They literally planned it. They're so disrespectful to people. And the fact that they can supersede two judges and appoint Justice Navendra Singh as Chief Justice is very, very troubling. As a matter of fact, even before officially Justice Cummings came off on retirement, they had already appointed Navendra Singh to the Judicial Service Commission when there was not even a vacancy. So I question whether that was lawful. But, and here's the thing, the president then went on national television and lied. He said, Justice Yonet Cummings requested to proceed on pre-retirement leave when he and Justice Anderson pushed her out. But that's the lie they told to the nation. So we filed this complaint with the Judicial Service, with the Commission, Judicial and Legal Services Commission for the Caribbean region, and we hope that they'll take it seriously and investigate it and take action if necessary. Because we have now lost confidence in the integrity and the independence of the Caribbean Court of Justice because its president is compromised.
As Andrea Critchlow, one of the persons watching, is saying, we have had enough information, historical facts on how these individuals have used their tactics time and time again. We need to counter these old tricks and stop this madness. Guyana, rise up and push back. Rise up, join Mr. Rickford Burke. Take this show. You can cut your Guyanese, edit out this part of it, and just send it all about. We don't
But here, that person that just said rise up, right now the president or the vice president was calling the police commissioner and say, hey, go find him wherever he is in the world and charge him with inciting violence in the country against us elite Indians.
Elite Indians.
That's what.
And it's so sad that they are behaving that way because, I've met, even on the show, some wonderful Indian people who work very, very well with African Guyanese in Guyana. But, this government is a kind of government, the PPP government. From what I've seen, it is just, pushing almost like a racist agenda.
They are racist.
I have to
They're
say
racist. They don't respect African Guyanese. And why they continue to do it is that they have a few compliant Negroes with them who they send out to defend them. And every time they want to do something, they want to lynch. Let me put it this way. What happened to Justice Cummings was a lynching. They lynched her, right? It's a hatchet job. They always find a black person to do it, to negate the impact of their racism. Because they're going to say, well, it wasn't us. We had the president of the CCJ come and he spoke to her and she agreed. That's not racism. Justice Anderson is not East Indian, he's black. And that's how they get away with it.
Yeah, all the time. Well, listen, Mr. Burke, you're welcome on here every time and anytime. Just message me. That's all you have to do.
Thanks for having me.
It's big in my heart. Big in my heart. Anytime. God bless you. Your love for your country, I have to say, it's infectious. And
thank you very much.
Yeah, it is. It is.
I hope that it spreads like COVID.
Yeah.
Good night, everybody.